start again. It's a redskin.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the Beatles. These weren't just four mop-topped musicians, they were a cultural phenomenon that changed the world. From their humble beginnings in Liverpool to their explosive rise to fame, the Beatles' story is one of friendship, musical innovation, and cultural impact. But beyond the chart-topping hits and screaming fans, there's a whole other side to the story. We'll be exploring the Beatles' personal lives, their relationships, their families, and even their net worth. So buckle up, music lovers, because we're about to take a journey through the fascinating lives of the Fab Four. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing celebrity content, and if you're enjoying this video so far, consider giving us a super thanks. It really helps the channel grow. But hey, enough about us, let's get started on the Beatles. The Beatles weren't just a band, they were a cultural phenomenon. Their music transcended generations and backgrounds, leaving an undeniable mark on the world. But what made them so special? It all comes down to the unique talents and personalities of each member. Let's start by delving deeper into the individual stories that shaped the Beatles' legacy. John Lennon. John Lennon's life was a whirlwind of creativity and controversy. Born in Liverpool, England in 1940, his childhood was marked by his parents' separation. This early experience of loss and instability would later find its way into his introspective lyrics. Fueled by a passion for rock and roll, he formed the Quarrymen, the seed from which the Beatles would eventually blossom. Lennon's rebellious spirit and sharp intellect made him the band's creative firebrand. He was a prolific songwriter, crafting iconic anthems like Imagine and Strawberry Fields Forever. His partnership with Paul McCartney, fueled by friendly competition and mutual respect, resulted in a legendary songwriting duo. Together, they penned timeless hits like Hey Jude and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Beyond catchy tunes, Lennon wasn't afraid to tackle social issues. Songs like Give Peace a Chance became anthems for the anti-war movement, showcasing his desire to use music as a platform for change. Following the Beatles' breakup, Lennon embarked on a successful solo career, further exploring his political and philosophical views. Tragically, his life was cut short in 1980, leaving behind a legacy of powerful music and a lasting impact on popular culture. Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney's musical journey began in Liverpool just 2 years after Lennon's. Unlike Lennon's rock and roll swagger, McCartney possessed a natural pop sensibility. Introduced to Lennon in 1957, their musical connection was instant. McCartney's melodic bass lines and powerful vocals became the backbone of the Beatles' sound. His songwriting prowess, often described as more sentimental and optimistic than Lennon's, resulted in classics like Let It Be and Yesterday. McCartney wasn't afraid to experiment either, pushing boundaries with innovative tracks like Helter Skelter. His dedication to musicality is evident throughout the Beatles' vast discography. After the band's separation, McCartney's solo career skyrocketed. He formed Wings with his wife Linda and continued to churn out chart-topping hits. As a performer, he remains a powerhouse, captivating audiences with his energy and undeniable stage presence. Knighted by the Queen of England in 2008, Sir Paul McCartney is a living legend, regarded as one of the greatest songwriters and bassists of all time. George Harrison. The quiet Beatle, George Harrison, often found himself overshadowed by the Lennon-McCartney partnership. Born in Liverpool in 1943, Harrison's musical journey began alongside Lennon and McCartney. While not as prolific a songwriter as the other two, his contributions were no less impactful. Harrison's gentle demeanor and introspective nature resonated in his music. He was the band member most drawn to Eastern influences, incorporating elements of Indian music into iconic tracks like Within You Without You and the hauntingly beautiful While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Following the Beatles' breakup, Harrison emerged as a force to be reckoned with. His solo career saw him explore diverse genres, from the rock anthems of My Sweet Lord to the introspective ballads of Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth. Harrison's legacy extends beyond music. He was a spiritual seeker, introducing meditation and Eastern philosophies to the band and influencing their later work. Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr, born Richard Starkey in 1940, may not have been the primary songwriter, but his drumming was the rock that held the Beatles together. His infectious energy and steady rhythm propelled the band's sound, making him an indispensable member. Starr's easygoing personality and sense of humor brought a sense of balance to the band's dynamic. While not a prolific songwriter, he did contribute occasional gems like the heartwarming "With a Little Help from My Friends." Following the Beatles' breakup, Starr embarked on a successful solo career. He enjoyed a string of hits like "It Don't Come Easy" and "Photograph," further solidifying his place in music history. The Hamburg era. Before their global fame, the Beatles underwent a transformative period in Hamburg, Germany, from 1960 to 1962. They secured a residency at the Indra Club, facing grueling conditions and honing their stage presence. Hamburg was a baptism by fire, pushing them to develop their sound and songwriting skills. Despite health tolls and lineup changes, the experience fostered a strong camaraderie. Discovery by Brian Epstein, their future manager, marked the end of this era and the beginning of their journey to superstardom. Hamburg was not glamorous, but it was crucial in shaping the Beatles into an iconic live act. Rise to fame. Forged in the fire of Hamburg's red light district, the Beatles returned to England in 1962, hungry for success. Enter Brian Epstein, a local businessman who saw their raw talent and commercial potential. Under his guidance, the leather jackets were swapped for sharp suits and the iconic mop-top haircuts were born. Love Me Do, their debut single, laid the groundwork, but it was Please Please Me in 1963 that ignited the spark. The catchy tune and infectious energy resonated with audiences, topping the British charts. Media attention followed, newspapers and magazines fanning the flames. By late 1963, Beatlemania had erupted. Screaming fans, packed concerts, and non-stop radio play transformed them into national treasures. Across the Atlantic, Beatlemania was brewing. Their 1964 appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in the US was a cultural landmark, watched by an estimated 73 million viewers. America mirrored the scenes in England, with teenage pandemonium and records flying off shelves. Several factors fueled this meteoric rise. Their music, a blend of catchy melodies and raw energy, transcended generations. The clean-cut image, crafted by Epstein, appealed to a wider demographic, disarming skeptical parents. Their electrifying stage presence and undeniable charisma cemented their connection with fans. Finally, the media frenzy and snowballing effect of Beatlemania propelled them to superstardom. The journey from Hamburg's dingy clubs to the screaming crowds was a whirlwind. Talent, hard work, a savvy manager, and perfect timing to capture the cultural zeitgeist propelled them to global fame. The Beatles revolutionized music, redefined fandom, and cemented their place in history. Musical evolution. Throughout their career, the Beatles continually pushed the boundaries of popular music. Their early hits, characterized by catchy melodies and tight harmonies, gave way to more experimental and psychedelic sounds influenced by their exploration of Eastern spirituality and avant-garde art. Albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Revolver showcased their musical innovation and willingness to defy conventions. Songwriting process. Central to the Beatles' success was the dynamic songwriting partnership between Lennon and McCartney. Their contrasting styles complemented each other perfectly, producing timeless classics such as Yesterday, A Day in the Life, and Hey Jude. Meanwhile, George Harrison's contributions, including Something and While My Guitar Gently Weeps, highlighted his growing prowess as a songwriter. Ringo Starr also made his mark with compositions like Octopus's Garden and Don't Pass Me By. Impact on popular culture. The Beatles were not just a band, they were cultural icons who influenced fashion, art, and society at large. Their mop-top haircuts, tailored suits, and witty charm set trends and captured the spirit of the swinging 60s. Their arrival in America heralded the British invasion, forever changing the landscape of popular music and paving the way for countless bands to follow. Personal lives. The Beatles' relationships and families. The Beatles' story isn't just about chart-topping hits and screaming fans. Their personal relationships, both romantic and familial, played a significant role in their lives and music. Let's explore the love lives and families of the Fab Four. John Lennon. John's early life, marked by parental separation, instilled a desire for connection. He found stability with his first wife, Cynthia Powell, and the birth of their son, Julian. Beatlemania's pressure strained the marriage, leading to divorce. John later found a creative and personal partner in Yoko Ono, a controversial yet influential figure in his life and music. Paul McCartney. Known for his optimistic spirit, Paul balanced music with a desire for normalcy. He married Linda Eastman, a photographer, in 1969. Linda became his rock, offering support personally and professionally. They started a family, and Paul cherished his role as a father, a theme reflected in his songwriting. George Harrison. The introspective George married Pattie Boyd in 1966, but their relationship faltered as he explored spirituality. Drawn to Eastern mysticism, he incorporated these influences into the Beatles' music, seeking inner peace. After the band's breakup, he found solace with his second wife, Olivia Arias, in 1978. Ringo Starr. Ringo, the band's steady beat, married Maureen Cox in 1965 and had 3 children. He grappled with fame's pressures and the band's internal conflicts. Despite challenges, Ringo remained a positive force, maintaining friendships with his band mates. A legacy of children. Each Beatle became a father, leaving a legacy beyond music. John had 2 sons, Julian with Cynthia and Sean with Yoko. Julian's relationship with John was strained due to the divorce, while Sean became a musician himself. Paul has 5 children, 4 with Linda, Heather, Mary, Stella, and James, and 1 adopted from Linda's previous relationship. All 4 of his biological children have pursued careers in music or fashion. George had 1 son, Donnie, with Pattie Boyd. Donnie has also followed in his father's musical footsteps. Ringo has 3 children with Maureen, Zach, Jason, and Lee Starkey. Zach is a drummer and has collaborated with his father on several occasions. The Beatles' relationships may not have always been smooth sailing, but they provided love, support, and inspiration. Their children, a testament to their personal lives, carry on the Beatles' legacy in various ways, keeping the music and influence of the Fab Four alive for generations to come. Breakup and aftermath. The strains of fame, artistic differences, and individual pursuits ultimately led to the Beatles' breakup in 1970. Each member pursued solo careers, with varying degrees of success. Lennon tragically lost his life to gun violence in 1980, while Harrison succumbed to cancer in 2001. McCartney and Starr continued to perform and record, cementing their status as musical legends. Legacy. More than 5 decades after their breakup, the Beatles' legacy endures. Their music continues to resonate with audiences of all ages, and their influence can be heard in the work of countless artists across genres. From their chart-topping hits to their experimental forays, the Beatles remain synonymous with innovation, creativity, and the enduring power of rock and roll. Here's a breakdown of the estimated net worth of each Beatle at the time of their death and adjusted for inflation. John Lennon's net worth was estimated to be around $200 million at his death in 1980. Adjusted for inflation, that translates to roughly $671 million in today's dollars. As of 2024, Paul McCartney is estimated to be the wealthiest Beatle, with a net worth of around $1.2 billion. At the time of his death in 2001, George Harrison's net worth was estimated to be $400 million. Adjusted for inflation, that's approximately $625 million today. Ringo Starr's current net worth is estimated to be around $350 million. It's important to remember that these are estimates, and the exact figures may vary. However, they give a good idea of the immense financial success achieved by the Beatles. Wow, that was a wild ride, wasn't it? We explored the lives of John, Paul, George, and Ringo, from their early days to their lasting legacy. They were more than just musicians, they were cultural icons who redefined music, fashion, and even society itself. If you enjoyed learning about the Beatles, be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what other celebrities you'd like us to dive into next. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite stars. We've got tons of exciting content coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Behind the Celebrity Life.